Good morning. I've decided that since no one apparently wants to give me suggestions or questions to Google in the comments section, although I have received a grand total of 2 comments, both of which were positive, so I thank you for that. But I've decided that, for lack of a better format, or until someone has a better idea and communicates it to me, I'm just going to kind of use this channel to scream into the void, a vlog journal thing, if you will. In this particular video, I'm going to be rambling about capital punishment and methods of execution, because I have a morbid sort of curiosity about these things, and I happen to have some knowledge, and that knowledge led to opinions. And I don't know, they came up in my YouTube feed, and now I want to talk about them. So, death, specifically executions, the killing of an individual by the state. It's a very complex and heavy topic. Lots of thoughts both for and against. Sorry. So, arguments for capital punishment tend to ultimately boil down to, in Terry Pratchett, making money, or going postal. It was going postal. Moist von Lipwig is being walked to the gallows, and he says to the hangman, "Look, do you really think this ever actually stops crime? Like, do you think this actually does anything for what you're trying to accomplish?" And the hangman says, "Well, sir, it works wonders on recidivism." "How do you mean?" "Never seen anybody up here more than once, sir." So that's the one side of it, and I can see that. Every so often you run into that one guy who just refuses to get along with everybody else. He will not play nice with the other kidlets, and so must be removed from the pool. Fine. But the other end of that is executions are a display of state power. And think honestly, how many states do you know of that deserve that kind of power or can be trusted to wield it effectively and justly? So, the arguments against tend to boil down to, I say it doesn't matter if he deserves it, because the guy who says he's deserving it can't be trusted to actually be doing that. So, argument for, every so often you gotta put a motherfucker down. Argument against, who gets to say when that happens and why? It's a complex issue. But that's not what actually I want to talk about. I'm actually here to discuss the pros and cons of specific methods of execution, because that's the kind of weirdo knowledge base I've developed. Now, America has gone through assorted methods of rendering various people into lumps of protoplasm approaching room temperature. We're good at it, something of a national passion, if you know our history. And we've had various methods of doing it officially. Hanging, always popular, gas chamber, electric chair, firing squad, depending. You got options. These days we tend to favor the lethal injection, which is considered quicker and cleaner and more humane through various arcane legal and political processes that I don't actually know anything about. But the lethal injection is considered the humane option these days. For reasons not entirely clear to me, right? Because when you're setting up a process, right, like a procedure, you must make allowances for when it will go wrong. The Demon Murphy will have his due, boys and girls. So, you gotta make allowances for that. And based on my, admittedly, very limited layman reading into how a lethal injection actually works, when it goes wrong, that shit goes wrong. And it's not pleasant. And it can't be, it's definitely not pleasant for anyone watching, and it's for damn sure no fun for the poor bastard going through it. Which is part of the point, I guess, but I thought we didn't like torture here. Cruel and unusual punishment. It's somewhere in the Constitution, I'm almost sure. So, I would say that a botched lethal injection is very definitely a violation of the prisoner's right to protection against cruel and unusual punishment. If I were to be executed, right? Like, say the fucking, I don't know, the American version of Ingsoc takes over and Big Brother decides I gotta go, right? I think I would prefer to be hanged. Hanging or firing squad, I think, for me. The firing squad is pretty hard to fuck up. Unless your guys are all bad shots, and then the poor bastard in the detail has to finish you off with the sidearm. You can't just start with the sidearm, because then it feels like you're doing a mob hit. But hanging, I think. Like, if we as a country are going to insist on having executions of criminals, and hey, I'm not saying for or against, we're a democracy, but if we're going to have executions, I personally would plump for hanging. If done correctly, it's quick, clean, easy, lights out. I talk with my hands. I don't know if y'all can see that because I'm holding the phone. But if the hangman knows his business, right, then it's wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, lights out, right? You get the right length of rope. It depends on the person's height and weight. And then knot placement actually matters as well. You want the knot under the left ear, just behind there. Then, yeah, so with the right length of rope and the right knot placement, when the trap opens and the victim descends, their body weight and the sudden tension of the rope is enough to lights out. Now, the downsides are there as well. Like, if the hangman doesn't use enough rope, then you get to dance the hemp fandango, which is what it's called, when you dangle from the end of the rope with your feet a-kicking as you slowly choke to death. And nobody likes it, except sadists, and we don't care about their opinions in this context. Remember, if your sadist has not given you a written consent form and agreed on a safe word, they're a bad sadist. So yeah, too short, you dangle and choke and it's bad. Weirdly enough, if the rope's too long when you fall, you pop the whole head off. Ain't that some shit? But anyway, it's all horrifying. The taking of a human life is not a good thing. But I don't know. I feel like if we're gonna insist on killing people we call criminals, then we should have, I don't know, the needle lacks that certain je ne sais quoi. Yeah? The electric chair is too Frankenstein. The gas chamber's got bad connotations. The fucking firing squad is hard on the poor bastards doing it. And hence the whole shenanigan with the blank round. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, this is just my opinion. And I am curious what other people think. So, I am inviting discussion. Go forth into the comments and tell me why I'm batshit, or why you agree with me entirely, or why you think I'm only half right about something, or something you heard me get blatantly wrong. Tell me, correct me, argue with me. I want a symposium. I've had a philosophical kind of a thought, I feel, kind of a thing, and I'd like other people's opinions on it. So, let me know. And also, do all the YouTube-y things. I do shorts too. I tell jokes. That's fun. And I'll Google stuff for you too if you want. If you've got a question that you can't be bothered to Google, but you've always wondered about, tell me. I'll Google it for you, and then I'll do a video telling you what I figured out. That's all I got. I'm gonna have a cigarette and finish my coffee, and I wish y'all a pleasant day.